everyone, it's Victoria for SlurpVision. I'm here with CEO of Slurp, Jeremy Howard, at the Slurp offices, and today we're going to define and discuss En Primeur. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me again.
It's that time of year when we're hearing everyone talking about En Primeur. Can you define that for us?
Well, the Europeans talk about En Primeur, the Americans I think call it futures. All it means is buying wine in advance of when it's physically available in the bottle.
And it's mostly Bordeaux that we hear about when we're talking about En Primeur. Are there other regions selling wines this way?
Well, I think many more would like to, but the Bordeaux campaign is by far the biggest in the world. There's a small campaign in Burgundy, and we see some campaigns in the Rhone, a little bit in Italy, and one or two new world producers, but the Bordelais really have this sewn up.
I suppose they're the ones that kind of launched this whole idea and concept, so they're the most known for this.
They've been doing this for hundreds of years, Victoria.
What do you need to be able to purchase wine En Primeur?
Well, you don't need anything really. You need some patience because you're not going to get your wine for a period of time.
About 2 years.
It will for Bordeaux, yes. You probably might need a relatively deep pocket if you're going to buy some of the top wines. You might want to think about having a bonded facility if you're going to take the wine physically into the bond at the time it becomes available. But otherwise you don't actually need anything specific other than a good wine merchant.
So there are certain advantages and some risks with buying En Primeur. Can you talk us through them?
Well, on the advantages side, you guarantee your allocation. So you know exactly what you bought, you know how many bottles or cases you've got. Recently we've seen astronomical demand for fine Bordeaux wine, so just being able to say, that's mine is a big advantage.
Definitely.
Also, of course, you don't pay the VAT and the duty.
Straight away.
That's right. You will only pay that when you actually physically want the wine delivered. And a lot of people actually never pay the VAT and the duty. They will actually sell the wine before it becomes physical or before they want to have it taken out of their bonded facility. But you don't need to have a bonded facility.
You can decide when the time comes, basically.
Exactly right, yes, you can decide then. On the downside, of course, the price could fall before you actually take delivery of your wine. You might have been better off waiting. That's not been such a big problem in the past, but recently we have seen that. And unfortunately, there are, of course, some scams where people do sell wine that they don't physically own, so you do need to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, it's very scary if you're kind of paying these large sums of money and you're not even sure. How can you be sure that it's a reputable merchant?
Well, you need to be looking for a track record.
Yeah.
So somebody who's been in business for a period of time, look at the website, look at the people, certainly speak to them, make sure that the person on the end of the phone sounds knowledgeable. A, they exist and they sound knowledgeable. And there are other places you can go for information.
And referrals.
Yes, exactly.
So is this something that you buy for investment purposes or drinking later, bit of both? And does that influence how you buy?
Yeah, well, you can certainly decide later. I think it does help to have a plan. In my experience, there are some years which work much better for investment than others. So the great longevity vintages are going to work better for investment purposes. But we do see a lot of people now buying wine in the year of the birth of a child or an anniversary to then drink or open later. So it does help to have a plan, but you don't need to decide at the time.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for defining En Primeur and giving us a little bit of insight into it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and thanks for watching.